Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Today we will be discussing the statement of comprehensive income. Let's start. The statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, ang starting point income statement at ang next presentation is your other comprehensive income. Ganun lang naman kasimple. Okay? So the statement of profit or loss or other comprehensive income, which is collectively known as the statement of comprehensive income kung one statement format mo siya gagawin, shall present, in addition to the profit or loss and other comprehensive income sections, ano po dapat yung pagkakasunod-sunod at yung tamang presentation. A section dedicated to your presentation of the profit or loss, a section dedicated for total other comprehensive income, yung ating mga OCI items, and the comprehensive income for the period, which is the total of your profit or loss and OCI. Actually, being very technical with the wordings of the standard, hindi po tinatawag sa standard na total comprehensive income, yung mismong bottom line o yung bottom point. No, comprehensive income lang talaga. Pero, pag nakita po ninyo sa test questions, pag sinabing total comprehensive income, yun yung tinutukoy ng standard na comprehensive income. Okay? So, being very technical with the terminology, ang tawag lang po talaga sa pinaka-endpoint natin doon sa doon sa ating FS mismo, comprehensive income. Pero that also means the total comprehensive income, which is the total of the two major points that you presented, which is your profit or loss and your other comprehensive income. Ang bilin ng standard, ang bilin ng IAS 1, if the entity presents a separate statement of profit or loss na nakaseparate dun sa sa OCI part, it does not present that same profit or loss section dun sa part na nagdi-discuss ka na ng OCI. So kapag ka naka two statement format ka, there is a dedicated section for your profit and loss, and there is a dedicated section for your OCI. Kung naka two statement format. Kung one statement format, pwede mo siyang tawagin diretso. The statement of comprehensive income, ang starting point mo sa taas, profit or loss items, sa baba OCI, ang endpoint is your comprehensive income. An entity shall present the following items. In addition to the profit or loss and other comprehensive income sections, the allocation of the PL and OCI for the following. The PL attributable to NCI and the owners of the parent. Di ba may accounting for business combinations na kayo? So, dito nyo po siya i-relate, no? And then, the comprehensive income is there is also a separate presentation for the NCI and owners of the parent. And also, if the entity presents profit or loss in a separate statement, it shall present letter A in that statement. Yun ang sinabi. Pag naka two statement format ka, nahiwala yung profit or loss at saka OCI, yung letter A na pinapakita mo yung allocation ng PL sa non-controlling interest and owners of the parent, dapat dun mo siya ilagay sa part ng PL. So same din with the comprehensive income for the period, dapat attributable dun sa NCI and owners of the parent, dun na sa second statement. Kapag ka naka two statement format ka. Okay? So, both your PL and your total comprehensive income, dapat may allocation for the NCI and the attributable to owners of the parent. Ano po specifically ang binanggit ng IAS 1 na dapat na items na maipakita sa ating statement of profit or loss? Mind you, naka-IAS 1 pa tayo kasi ilang years pa naman yung ating IFRS 18, so wala muna tayong discussion dito ng income statement na nakaseparate into operating, investing, financing. Hindi po natin i-apply yun dito. Okay? So, the revenue items, but the standard clearly says that we need to separately present any interest revenue calculated under the effective interest method and any insurance revenue under IFRS 17. Lahat po ng finance cost natin, and specifically may special section na nilagay dun sa standard about our impairment losses, including the reversals of impairment losses and gains or impairment gains. Okay? And also, insurance finance income or expenses within the scope of IFRS 17 and finance income or expenses for reinsurance contracts held also under IFRS 17. And then we also show the share of the profit or loss of associates and joint ventures that was accounted using the equity method. Now, take note of these two items. Number one, if a financial asset is reclassified out of the amortized cost measurement category so that it is measured at FBPL, any gains or loss relating to that transaction or arising from that, from a difference between the previous amortized cost of the financial assets papunta dun sa FBPL at the reclassification date should also be presented. And also, if a financial asset is reclassified out of the FBOCI category so that it is measured at fair value through PL, any cumulative gains and losses previously recognized in OCI that is reclassified to PL shall also be presented. And then, line items for your tax expense, both the current and deferred items, and a single line item for the presentation of your profit from discontinued operations. So, kapag ka po may item ng discontinued operations at tinanong po kayo ng profit for the year, kailangan i-add po ninyo yung income from continuing operations at saka yung single amount na item na nakalagay po dun sa income from discontinued operations. Ano naman po yung mga items na dapat i-present sa OCI section? The OCI section shall present line items for the amounts of the period 4. The OCI itself, classified by nature and grouped into those that, in accordance with other IFRS, may dalawa po tayong category. Those that cannot be reclassified subsequently to PL and those that will be reclassified subsequently to PL when specific conditions are met. Mamaya later on in our slides, meron po tayong listahan yan. Kung ano po yung mga may not be reclassified at saka may be reclassified to PL. And the share of the OCI of associates and joint ventures accounted for using the equity method, and dapat subclassification din yung OCI part na yun dun sa will not be reclassified at saka will be reclassified. Yun po ang sabi ng standard. Sinusunod lang po natin. An entity shall present additional line items, headings, and subtotals in the statements presenting profit or loss and OCI when such presentation is relevant in the understanding of the financial performance of the entity. Okay lang daw maglagay ng line items basta po siya ay relevant in understanding the financial performance of the firm. Now, kung sakali pong gusto nating maglagay ng mga subtotals, depende sa kung paano po natin gagawin yung ating FS. Ito po ang guidelines na binanggit ng standard sa paglalagay ng subtotals. Number 1, those subtotals shall be comprised of line items made up of amounts recognized and measured in accordance with IFRS. It means that if the standard tells you to have a subtotal or a presentation for that item, then you have to do so. Pangalawa, the subtotal should be presented and labeled in a manner that makes the line item constitute the subtotal clear and understandable. Ibig sabihin, bakit ka nag-subtotal dun sa part na yon? Ano ang essence niya? Kailangan understandable. Sa atin ding pong subtotal, kailangan consistent from period to period. Kung bakit mo siya sinasubtotal, ay kailangan consistent ka from period to period. And the subtotals should not be displayed with more prominence than the subtotals and totals required in IFRS for statements presenting PL and OCI. Ang pinaka-endpoint po natin sa two-statement format sa PL, di syempre yung profit or loss sa dulo. After presenting your tax expense and your income from discontinuing operations. And then sa OCI part at yung mismong comprehensive income part sa dulo, yung mismong total comprehensive income. So, ang sabi, wag daw lalagyan ng more prominence and presentation yung mga subtotal mo dahil ang pinaka-total na titignan natin is the PL and the CI, yung mismong total comprehensive income. No? So, wag lalagyan ng isang uri ng subtotal with more prominence than the actual endpoints ng ating FS, nung ating mismong comprehensive income. An entity shall not present any items of income or expense. Ito po, bawal na bawal, extraordinary items. Both in the statement presenting PL, in the OCI, and in the notes to the financial statements. Just one reminder, for profit or loss for the period, an entity shall recognize all items of income and expense in a period in profit or loss unless an IFRS requires or permits otherwise. And for the OCI, an entity shall disclose the amount of income tax related to each item of OCI, including the related reclassification adjustments, either in PL or OCI or in the notes. An entity shall disclose reclassification adjustments relating to components of OCI. And when there are items of income and expense that are considered material, then the entity shall have a disclosure why these items are material. You have to explain, you have to disclose their nature and the amount by itself. Bakit nga siya material in the first place? IAS 1 also allows us, in the presentation of our expenses, to show it either the functional approach or the natural approach. An entity shall present an analysis of expenses recognized in PL using a classification based on either their nature or function within the entity, whichever provides information that is reliable and more relevant. Kapag ginamit ang nature of expense method, the entity aggregates expenses within profit or loss according to their nature. So, meron kang separate na area to report all of your deductions and expenses. Depreciation, purchase of materials, increase and decrease in inventory, transportation cost, employee benefits, advertising cost. Kasi nga po, ang presentation mo ng expense is based on its nature. It does not reallocate them based on function. Sa kabaliktaran, when we say function of expense method, we are presenting it, first of all, yung cost of goods sold. Okay? Then, the entity classifies the expenses according to their function. Their function as cost of sales or cost of distribution, cost of administrative activities. At a minimum, the entity discloses its cost of sales under this method separately from other expenses. Yan po yung kinasanayan nyo na pagkatapos nyo mag-report ng cost of goods sold, yung function ng expenses as cost of goods sold may lalabas na gross profit. After your gross profit, all of your other operating expenses. For example, yung nasa right side, ito yung functional approach, ito yung natural approach. Let's say, for example, ito po yung mismong pinanggalingan niyang mga amounts. Ito po yung computation ng net sales, ng net purchases, cost of goods sold, and operating expenses. Under the functional presentation, yung net sales natin na 8,136,295, yan po yung kinasanayan ninyo, ay ma-minus po ninyo yung cost of goods sold. Which is, as you know, the cost of goods sold is computed from your goods available for sale deducted by the ending inventory, which gives you a presentation of gross profit. And then if you have other income, that will be your total revenue minus all of your operating expenses to get your net income. However, in the natural presentation, it is presented by nature, specifically for your expenses. So, lahat ng revenue items i-report mo. Tingnan yung mabuti. Yung net sales mo na 8,136,295, sinama agad yung other income na 125,746. Okay? And then, for your deductions and expenses, yung mismong nature niya na. No? Ano siya? Salaries, utilities, rent, depreciation. It is not based on its function but rather the nature. Kaya po, hindi ka magpapakita ng cost of goods sold. Instead, ang ipapakita mo, any increase or decrease in inventory and the net purchases that you did during the period. Okay? So, ganyan po yung pinagkaiba ng functional at natural expense presentation. Ano ang bilin ng standard? Kapag ka ang isang entity ay nagka-classify ng expense by function, they shall disclose additional information on the nature of the expenses, including for depreciation, amortization, employee benefits. Why? Information on the nature of expenses is useful in predicting future cash flows because you are talking about the nature of the expense, not its function as cost of goods sold or cost of distribution or cost of administrative. Okay? Yung mismong nature ang pinapatungkulan. That's why it is useful in predicting future cash flows. That's why, again, the additional disclosure is required when the function of expense classification is used. In short, pag ang entity naka-functional presentation sa expenses, kailangan may disclosure ng natural presentation ng expenses. The choice between the function of expense method and the nature of expense method depends on historical and industry factors and by itself, in totality, the nature of the entity. So, let's go through the summary of items to be reported in the Statement of Comprehensive Income. A section presenting your profit or loss, a section presenting all of your items for other comprehensive income, and the total comprehensive income for the period. Technically, the standard calls it comprehensive income. You also have to show the profit or loss attributable to NCI and the owners of the parent, and the comprehensive income attributed to NCI and owners of the parent. You also show revenue, gains and losses, finance cost, impairment losses, share in net income of associates and joint ventures under equity method, tax expense, and discontinued operations. Ito po yung usual items that we present in other comprehensive income. Unrealized gains or losses on equity investments measured at fair value through OCI. Unrealized gains or losses on debt investments measured at fair value through OCI. Any gains or losses from translating the financial statements of foreign operations. The revaluation surplus itself is an OCI, no? The changes of amounts there. And then unrealized gains and losses from derivative contracts designated as cash flow hedge and hedge. And yung napag-usapan natin last time na part ng OCI nung sa previous lesson natin, any remeasurements on your defined benefit plan. Specifically, dividing these items by 2, meron po tayong mga OCI items that may be reclassified subsequently to PL and OCI items that may not be reclassified subsequently to PL. Pasensya na, diretso lang po ito kailangan yung kabisaduhin. Okay? What are the OCI items that may be reclassified subsequently to PL? Number 1, gain or loss from translating financial statements of a foreign operation. It can be reclassified to PL. Unrealized gains or losses on derivative contracts designated as cash flow hedge, and unrealized gains or losses on debt investments measured at fair value through OCI. Yan po yung tatlong items that can be reclassified subsequently to PL. What are the OCI items that may not be reclassified subsequently to PL? Number 1, unrealized gains or losses on equity investments measured at fair value through OCI because it is reclassified to retained earnings upon investment disposal. So, kung makikita po ninyo yung difference, kapag ka-unrealized gain or loss on debt investments measured at FVOCI, it can be reclassified subsequently to PL. But if the unrealized gain or loss is on equity investments at FVOCI, then it is not reclassified subsequently to PL because it is reclassified to retained earnings upon disposal of the investment. Any amount of change of your evaluation surplus is dinidiretso po natin sa retained earnings, kaya later on, pag nag-discuss tayo ng statement of changes in equity, lalabas po yan. It may not be reclassified subsequently to PL. Lahat po ng remeasurements ng defined benefit plan, it is not reclassified subsequently to PL. Okay? Because it may be transferred directly to equity or retained earnings. And lastly, gain or loss attributable to credit risk of a financial liability designated at FBPL. Gain or loss may be recycled diretso sa equity or retained earnings. Again, we are talking about not directly the financial liability of FBPL, but the gain or loss attributable to its credit risk. Okay? The credit risk of a financial liability designated at fair value through PL. Okay? Here's a sample statement of comprehensive income last year lang, 2024, for Jollibee Foods Corporation. Sipatin natin isa-isa, no? Yung mga items. Okay? Let's start with their presentation of the PL part. They started with gross sales minus net discount. Gross sales minus sales discount. So that's your net sales. And then there is a separate presentation for royalties. And there was an adjustment for the IFRS 15 impact on their transaction. Tandaan po ninyo na nung tayo po ay nag-transition to IFRS 15, there are, ano tawag doon? May things tayong tinatawag na satisfaction of a performance obligation. No? From dati nating IAS 18 standard, nagkaroon tayo po ng IFRS 15, which is revenue from contracts with customers. It is, the revenue recognition criteria for that is now based on the satisfaction of performance obligation. So there might be a shift in revenue to earlier or later periods. That's why we have a separate line item showing the impact of the application of IFRS 15. Okay? And then, minus po yung direct cost, and that is your gross profit. So basically, this is a functional presentation. Pinakita po sa atin yung kanilang expenses, general and administrative expenses, advertising and promotions, may subtotal. And then, separate presentation for your interest income and interest expense. And then the equity and net earnings of joint ventures and associate, yan po yung under the equity method, 'di ba? Sinabi po natin kanina, kailangan po yan ay separately presented din, 'di ba? The share in the net earnings of joint ventures and associates under the equity method. And then all other income and a presentation for your income before tax before you present both your current and deferred income tax. Okay? And then coming from that, 3,392,444, ito na po ngayon yung net income coming from, kasi yung 392,444, di ba, yun yung sa income tax. So, coming from the income before income tax of 14,186,084 minus 3,392,444, ito na po yung net income. And, sa pagpe-present po ng comprehensive income section, ang starting point mo yung net income. Diba? Ganun po yun eh. Ang starting point mo, when you are already presenting the OCI part, ang starting point mo yung mismong PL part, no? Yung net income. And then, we have your OCI here, which is also divided into two. Diba? Ano po? The OCI items to be reclassified in PL in subsequent years. Example, translation adjustments ng foreign operations. Magkahiwalay lang. Yung isa foreign subsidiaries, yung isa foreign joint ventures and associates. And the comprehensive income on derivative liability. And then ang example nila is yung hindi ma-reclassify to PL, remeasurement gain or loss on defined benefit plan. Ito, pension. Diba? Ayun. Yan po yung pinag-aralan natin kanina. Which gives you your total comprehensive income. So, ang ginamit ng Jollibee na term is not only CI, talagang nilagyan ng word na total. And it's perfectly fine. Okay? The total comprehensive income. Tapos, ano pong sinabi? Kailangan the net income should be presented with an allocation to the equity holders of the parent and your NCI. And the total comprehensive income should also be presented with the equity holders of the parent and NCI. Pero 'di ba sabi kanina sa standard, mga kapatid, kailangan daw etong net income or loss attributable to equity holders of the parent and non-controlling interest. 'Di ba dapat daw kasama siya dun sa PL part. Pero suspetsa ko pinutol na lang nila ito dahil yung mismong PDF ay pa-landscape. So baka naka-single statement format sila, pinutol lang nila for landscape presentation, pero naka-single statement format. Ano po ang proof na ito ay single statement format? Talagang pinutol lang sa gitna for presentation purposes, yung mismong pangalan. Statement of Comprehensive Income. So, sabihin, dire-diretso po ito. Pinutol lang nila. No? So, you can imagine, yung net income talaga ay nandito, pababa pa, yun na yung mga OCI items. No? Kasi po, ang sabi ng standard, yung kabilin-bilinan, kapag ka-separate mong ipine-present yung PL at saka OCI, dapat itong net income attributable to equity holders of the parent and NCI, dapat nandito sa PL part. Hindi, dinire-diretso niya. So, ibig sabihin, this is actually a single statement format, naka-landscape presentation lang. I'm just being particular with how it was presented, no? Oo, yun lang. Tapos, may presentation po tayo ng earnings per share ha, but we have a separate lesson that discusses both the basic earnings per share and the diluted earnings per share. Okay? Let's have some practice problems on the presentation of your income statement and the statement of comprehensive income. Highlands Leisure Company and subsidiaries operates various businesses including retail, merchandise, real estate, entertainment, and service management. For the year ended December 31, 2025, the company reported the following results from its operations. The company earned 289,726,244 from merchandise sales. Okay, so ilalagay po natin starting point merchandise sales 289 million 726,244. May peso sign pala. Ayun. And 47,023,795 from real estate sales. It also generated rent revenue 26,900,000. Hindi ko nababasahin ng buo yung number ha. Ayun. And for royalty management and service fees 3,900,000. Cinema and amusement ticket sales, 1,095,000. In addition, the company received 436.96 as dividend income, and equity share in the net earnings of the associate and joint ventures is 17,036,367. So, sinama niya dun sa revenue kasi naka-natural presentation. So, sinama sa taas. Pero, di ba po, ang bili ng standard, kailangan itong equity in net earnings of the associate and joint ventures is after pa siya banda sa baba. Di ba? Okay? And then, other miscellaneous revenue is 8031,444. Okay? Which gives us our total revenue part, 394,185,705. The cost of merchandise sold is 220 245,198. Cost of real estate sales is 20,583,982. And then your selling general and administrative expenses 95,482,554. Which gives us a total cost and expense of 336,311,734. Meanwhile, nagkaroon po ng separate presentation for your interest expense amounting to 18,023,610, but it earned 2,436,015 for your interest income. It also recognized impairment loss of investment of 1 million, so naka-negative ang presentation, but reported a net foreign exchange gain of 129,286. Subtotal 16,458,309, which is your net other income and expenses. So, collectively, your total revenue, cost and expenses, and other net income and expenses, this is 41,415,662, which is your income before income tax. For income taxes, we have a provision. So, the current tax expense is 6,407,055 and deferred is 683,565. So the total of which for your provision of income tax is 7,096,20. Coming from your income before income tax minus your tax provision, then your net income is 34,325,042. The company reported other OCI, no? Let's start with the items that will be reclassified to PL in subsequent periods. A share in the unrealized, excuse me, gain on financial assets from associates amounting to 2,284,060. Cumulative translation adjustment loss, so pabawas, 322,636. And a net fair value loss on cash flow hedges, 1,556,934. Okay? So, total niya is 408,90. Let's now go to items not to be reclassified to PL. Remeasurement gain on DBO, which is 4,108,271. Net unrealized loss on financial assets at FBOCI, 302,553. And an income tax effect related to these items. Okay? Income tax relating to items not to be reclassified to profit or loss, which is 776,519. Okay? This is your subtotal. O ngayon, add mo na lang lahat ito. Ito, tsaka ito. This is your total comprehensive income, 37,755,131. And this is your problem 1. Paano nyo isi-screenshot? Teka, liit naman. Di yata kasya. Oo, maliit nga. That's the best I can do, mga kapatid, para magkasya. Pero kung papansin niyo, hindi siya fully natural. Bakit? Pinakita pa rin sa cost and expenses yung function niya as cost of sales, 'di ba? No, so medyo yung given sa problem. Medyo mixed, parang ganon, no? But anyway, na-compute naman natin. No? So, that's your answer. Okay? Problem 2 po tayo, mga kapatid. Let's focus on OCI. Water Best Company provided the following information. So, we have income from continuing and discontinued operations, and then unrealized gains and losses, and other OCI items, no? Sige, check natin. Ang pinapakompute po sa atin, profit for the year, OCI to be reclassified to PL, not to be reclassified, at saka yung mismong bottom line, total comprehensive income. Let's start with, sabi ko sa inyo kanina, pag may income from continuing operations at yung single line item from income from discontinued operations, that actually constitutes your profit. So, income from continuing operations na 2 million at income from discontinued operations na 250,000, yun na po yung profit for the year. Yes po. Kasi yung income from continuing operations, na-compute na dyan yung mismong PL items mo. Okay? Tapos meron nga pong single line item from your discontinued operations. So pag-addin mo lang, yun na yung profit for the year. Lahat po ng comprehensive income, lista lang natin. Yung unrealized gains and losses for financial asset classified as FBPL, tandaan po ninyo sa PL po iyan. So panggulo po ng ating problem yan. Doon na tayo sa next, di ba? The unrealized gains and losses on equity investment classified as fair value through OCI, dahil naka-negative siya, so loss po siya. So, it is an unrealized loss on equity investment classified as fair value through OCI, negative 500,000 kasi naka-loss. Yung next natin. Equity investment classified as fair value through OCI. Debt investment wala. Debt investment classified as fair value through OCI. Yes po. Pasok po siya. 600,000. Yung forward contract designated as a cash flow hedge, yes po, 200,000. Net translation loss on foreign operations, pag tinatranslate na yung FS ng foreign operations, di ba damay siya as OCI? So, yun po. And then, loss po siya ha, loss po. So, naka-negative 100,000. Net actuarial gain on the defined benefit plan, that's also an OCI, 300,000, gain po. Loss on credit risk of a financial liability designated as FBPL. Pero naka-loss po yung credit risk. So, negative 150,000. And the revaluation surplus itself, 1,250,000. That is your other comprehensive income. Ngayon, itong mga items na ito ay Balikan nga po natin yung slide natin kanina. Ano po yung classifiable, 'di ba? As PL. Yan, okay. Check natin. Ito 'yon, 'di ba? Hanapin natin, sa isahin natin dito. Dito sa listahan natin ito, ano yung reclassifiable tsaka not reclassifiable to PL. So, kapag reclassifiable, i-didilaw ko, i-red ko na lang yung not. Hanapin natin. Gain or loss from translating financial statements of a foreign operation. Translation loss on foreign operation may be reclassified subsequently to PL. Ayan. Next, unrealized gains or loss on derivative contracts designated as cash flow hedge. Ito yun. Unrealized gain on forward contract. Unrealized gain or loss on debt investment measured at fair value through OCI. Check natin yung kabila. Unrealized gains. Teka, paano ba to? Unrealized gain or loss on equity investment measured at fair value through OCI. Equity investment. Ito yan. Red na red. Yan, okay na yan. Next, change in revaluation surplus. Ito, revaluation surplus. Remeasurements of a defined benefit plan. Ito. And gain or loss attributable to a credit risk of a financial liability designated at FBPL. Ito yan. Yan na. Naano na natin, na-classify na natin. So, masasagot na natin yung tanong na OCI to be reclassified to PL. Ano po yun? Yung mga dinilaw po natin. Starting with your, ba't ganun? Translation loss on foreign operations na 100,000. Yung mga dinilaw lang natin, unrealized gain on forward contract designated as cash flow hedge, and unrealized gain on debt investment classified as FBOCI, 600,000. Nasaan yung mouse ko? Ayun. Okay? For a total of 700,000, that is your OCI that may be reclassified to PL. Lahat ng pinula po natin is may not be reclassified to PL. Unrealized loss on equity investment classified as OCI, FBOCI. Revaluation surplus na 1,250. Yung nakapula lang po ito. Net actuarial gain, 300,000. And loss on credit risk, minus 150. Total 900,000. OCI that may not be reclassified to PL. So, ang total comprehensive income natin is just basically your profit for the year and your OCI. Total mo lang. Yun lang naman po yun. Okay? Yun na yun. Profit for the year, 2,250. Other comprehensive income, 1,600. Total comprehensive income is the sum of the two. Or, kung maarte ka, 2,250 plus 700 plus 900. Yun din po yung 3,850,000. Okay? Sige po. Screenshot. Let's have problem number 3. This is actually your textbook problem 3-4. Okay? Excalibur Products had sales during 2022 of 895,000. The gross profit percentage is 55%. And then you're also given inventory purchases and the ending balance of inventory. Selling expense is 18% of sales, and coming from that amount, the general and administrative expense is equal to 80% of your selling expense. The income tax rate is 20% with 60,000 ordinary shares outstanding. Using the function of expense method, let's do the income statement. Okay, so preliminary analysis muna tayo. Kung ang sales mo ay 895,000 and the gross profit percentage is 55,000, you can get directly your gross profit amounting to 492,250. Which is, you can squeeze now your cost of goods sold. If you deduct 895,000 by the gross profit of 492,250, then your cost of goods sold is 402,750. Okay? So, compute natin ngayon yung cost of goods sold nang hindi nagsisqueeze. Inventory beginning, add purchases, goods available for sale, ending inventory, cost of goods sold. Kaso cost of goods sold ngayon given. So, lalagay natin yon, cost of goods sold. Now, the inventory count at the end of the period is 189,500. So, working backwards, 402,750 plus 189,500, your goods available for sale is 592,250. If your purchases is if your purchases is 466,250, then you squeeze your beginning inventory 126,000. Wag niyong isi-zero yung beginning inventory ha, yung ma-work back mo siya with the cost of goods sold. Okay? Then next, your sales again, 895,000. If you multiply it by selling expense, which is 18% of sales, then your selling expense is 18% of the 895,161,100. And from your selling expenses of 161,800, equal down ng 80%, no, ng selling expenses yung ating general and administrative expense. So your general administrative expense is 128,880. So, ito po yung iyong preliminary analysis. Pwede ka nang gumawa ng income statement. We start with your sales of 895,000, less your cost of goods sold, which you squeezed already, 402,750. Gross profit is 492,250. Less your operating expenses, which is selling expenses of 161,100, and general and administrative expenses of 128,880. So, this is your profit before tax, 202,270. Then, your income tax expense is 20%, and this is your net income, 161,816. Ganun lang. And then, we present your earnings per share at 60,000 ordinary shares, coming from 181,816 divided by 60,000 outstanding shares, your earnings per share is 2.7. But we have a separate problem. Discussion for earnings per share din naman. So, don't worry. Okay. Sige po. Screenshot. Maraming salamat po for being with us today, and our next lesson is the statement of financial position. Thank you very much.